fourth? What do you feel like you guys did well during that stretch?
I mean, our bench, you look at the numbers. I mean, Book scores 29 in 31 minutes. That's huge off a back-to-back. And, Biz, his defense tonight and the production we got from him, if you'd have asked me before the game started, is Biz going to score 17 points, I would have been like, I hope so. But that's probably not normal for, our team when he's out there playing. But our bench production, I think that's 53 to they had 17. That's huge on a back-to-back. Emotional loss last night, and our guys we had to dig deep. You could see both teams were tired. And I thought the emotional stamina was in a good place because when you're playing against Big Joe, he's going to draw contact. And sometimes it's just frustrating when you're playing great defense and a big dude like that's just running into you. I thought we held the rope as far as mental stamina tonight. That helped us for sure. And I thought the game plan discipline was really good. Kev came in with a bit of a plan to try to mix it up on Joe, and we had a bit of a different pick and roll coverage on the backside of our defense tonight to try to take away their pocket passes. And in a few instances, it helped us, especially in the third. We got a couple of steals, or we forced tough passes that led to transition opportunities for us. So off of a back-to-back, that was a huge effort, in my opinion, based on how last night went.
I was going to follow up with the emotional stamina that you're talking about. Haven't really played as well through the whistle in previous games. How much of a difference do you feel like that made tonight?
I think it was huge for sure because, nobody does it better than Joe. I mean, he's big, he's mobile, he can draw contact and finish, and you have to just move on to the next play. We didn't get a ton of opportunities at the line tonight, but we were still in attack mode. That's why Biz had a lot of, points tonight in the paint. But our guys understand, you're going to run up against hard over the course of a season and in game. And you got to be able to, be competitive, be emotional, but get it back to competitive where you can make good decisions and play good instinctive basketball and not get too swayed with whatever's happening in the game that you don't like. And I think that's something that we all players and coaches have to be better at.
The rim pressure for Devin in these last two games specifically has been pretty off the charts. Yeah. What does it do for the offense when he's attacking like that?
I think, anytime he's in that mode, one, it's a number of things. Bigs are setting good screens so he can attack. We're playing in 0.5, action pass, 0.5, and then it's just his instincts to get to the basket. And it's under control. And a lot of times it's with his left hand, which is really difficult when you're going full speed to gather yourself and finish with your left hand. So he's been in our system, from Jump Street, so he understands where those opportunities are. But I think anytime we play in action pass, 0.5, or action pass, whatever it looks like, to a 0.5 drive, I think that allows for guys like Book to get to the rim a bit more efficiently.
Did you like how the defense set up the offense for those 35 assists?
I mean, if you think about their team and how they shoot the ball and score, to hold these guys to 105, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for us. I thought we got timely stops tonight. Maxey was shooting the ball well, but nobody else got loose, and that was huge. Again, coming off of a back-to-back, and again, our best offense is a defensive stop. I've said that my whole coaching career. The best offense is to get a stop and get out and run. And with the shooters we have and the guys who can touch the paint, it allows us to be more efficient.
You mentioned the mental game plan stamina tonight and coming off an emotional loss. Mm-hmm. I know it's 1 of 82, but when you're shorthanded and coming off a game like that and going through kind of the skid recently, how big was it to see that type of energy and focus?
It's huge. I mean, I understand the mental makeup of our group to a degree. I mean, not in totality, but I understand how much they want to win. After last night, I felt it. They felt bad. We know we kind of let it go in the third quarter. and you get on the bus, you get on the plane, you could feel the remorse. And so you don't know what it's going to end up being, but you understand that your guys care. And when you care like that, you come into the next game, you're focused and you're ready to go. They couldn't wait to get on the court tonight. And that's the kind of group you love to coach.
The way that you've been able to give a lot of bench guys minutes recently, do you feel like you're getting clarity on what guys can and can't do when KD and DA come back?
I think we're, do I have it down? No. But I think we have a better idea of what we have. Sometimes when you go through adversity, it forces you to learn things you wouldn't have learned had you not gone through it. As I said in pregame, I probably wouldn't have played TJ this much had Kevin not been out, because we felt like we had a bit of a rhythm and a lineup that I was just used to. And that may have been a bit closed-minded, with Kevin being out and the coaches kind of getting on me a little bit. They said I needed to look at him. And we're giving TJ a look, and he's producing. And so I wouldn't have known that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hopeful that all of these things that we're learning through the adversity, through the injuries, will pay dividends for us later on.
You mentioned Book attacking the rim. He's always aggressive, but does he seem a little bit more aggressive these last couple games?
I don't know if there's ever been a minute or second in Book's life where he hasn't been aggressive. I don't. He's always aggressive. You imagine him at the dinner table. That young man's always aggressive. So I don't know if it's just the last two games. He's a competitive dude, and he hates losing.
Monty, how do you evaluate Chris at this point?
In what regard?
Just his whole game, what he's doing, what he adds to the team at this point?
Chris is Chris. He's sacrificing a lot. He's playing off the ball a ton, and that to me is, if I had to evaluate him, that's what I would say. He's a guy who just wants to win. Tonight, I thought he was really good in pick and roll, and he was getting to his spots and his snake move that he does. He's been doing it for 20 years now. So I think Chris has had to adjust more than anybody, having to get off the ball a ton more this year, playing with Cam and Mikal with the ball, Book with the ball. Now Kevin's got the ball. So I think when it's all said and done this year, it's going to pay off for us. So I wouldn't evaluate him with a grade or anything like that. I just love the way he sacrifices for the team.
5 minutes, that's a nice amount of minutes for him to be on the floor this late in the season.
It helps for sure. Cam had it going, and again, Chris saw Cam hit a couple shots, and he looked at me and said, "Coach, let him go." So that says a lot about how much he does for the team.
Coach, you said that you want to start taking steps forward to get in the flow and the rhythm, even with Kevin and beyond that. You thought you guys took a step towards that tonight?
I wouldn't say that after one game. I'm just glad we won. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of declarations and theories after one game. We just needed to win a game. But I do think we're learning more about, some of the bench guys, and they're learning more about what we do. You could see it tonight with the way they picked up the game plan. TJ made a number of plays tonight on the backside. And Terrence is just going to get better and better. So I think once we get Kevin and DA back, that's going to pinch a lot of those guys' minutes, but I think they'll be able to go harder and play with a bit more force for longer stretches because they're not playing as long as they are right now.
Hey, last
Cam Payne, you mentioned him just a second ago. He hit a couple shots tonight, and Chris said let him keep going. He's been up and down since coming back for sure, but he's always been an emotional player where, sometimes he can get in his own head. What have you seen from him lately in being able to just play through all these emotions?
I think the thing about Cam that's I appreciate is his bounce back ability. He can have an emotional game where he's doesn't play as well as he wants to, and then the next morning he's right back in it. I'll take the white team over and go through offense with them, some defensive coverages, and he's standing right by my side. He's not pouting. He's not upset about what happened the day before, even if he doesn't agree with whatever went on. And I think that bodes well for him to have a next play, next day mentality. And when you're the backup point guard, I've told him for years, the most steady guy in the gym has to be the backup point guard, and that's what we're trying to help him grow into, just being more steady with his passion and emotions without losing his identity.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
You were able to do to have the kind of game you had?
I think just trusting the game plan that the coach kind of handed us. I usually like to watch some of the clips of the previous games they had. Obviously, Joel is a great player, so I think we tried to throw him different looks the whole night, but obviously I had to guard him. But, when you play a player like that, is always a team effort. And thank God, everything kind of worked out for us. We were really focused on helping one another. And I think everybody did a good job just looking at plus minus, I think, throughout the game. Our second units was able to sustain us. You have T.J. Warren, who played extremely great. You have Terrence Ross, who played extremely great. Job campaign. So we just play through each other and then trying to make sure we can maintain that throughout the game.
How much is your energy impact in terms of playing against Joel? Because if there's a loose ball, you got the ball. If there's a play to be made, you were making those hustle plays. How big is that when you're playing against him?
I think a game like this, just trusting your instinct, and then kind of understanding how you can impact the game. I know he's gonna have the ball a lot, so you gotta rely on the instinct a lot. But also just watching film, knowing his tendency and see what he's looking for. I don't know how many free throws he got, but I think he got a lot of free throws at some point. I was like, man, he's just living on the free throw line. But at the same time, it's just good to see the team get a win, us getting a little break and now kind of regroup and trying to get this team rhythm. We're trying to figure out, so overall, I think, we all did a good job. The energy was there from the jump. We sustained that throughout the game. I think that was the game plan. We tried to start the third quarter better. I think in SAC we gave a lot of points, so that was also one of the big emphasis. But when you look at a game yesterday, they were blitzing Book, and then us being able to find, the guy cutting off the corner and then just kind of shipping, just finding an open man and getting a good look. And obviously making shots, we were doing that tonight. So overall, I think we did a good job. Book was really reading when they trap him and finding the open man, and us being able to help him make the right play. So just like I said, execute the game plan.
About that, Monty was saying he could feel the intention in the locker room after the way last night's game went and the remorse of not finishing the job. Just how much did you feel that focus and energy brought here tonight?
Honestly, I usually take like an hour nap. I think halfway through my nap, maybe 30 minutes in, I was like, man, I'm out of this, And I got here at 3 o'clock. I just went on the floor, just trying to get the feel of the game and the ball, and then just kind of getting rid of some of the stuff that happened yesterday. Obviously, just thank God, my brothers, my sisters, we have a little group text that we were just talking about, things that went down yesterday and how we could have done better, how I could have done better. If anybody that know, they always keep me accountable, outside of my teammate, it's always my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, they're straightforward. And they still pray for me. So so I'm extremely blessed to have them. But, Coach said one thing, I think I said it earlier, when things are not going well, I think he just asked the question randomly, what do you do? I think somebody was like, you just got to put your head down and keep working. And eventually you catch that break, And for us, I think yesterday we played great. We could have done better. We made some mistakes down the stretch, but it's just that sometimes you do everything you're supposed to do in the game and going your way. I think we've kind of had that stretch, but, I'm glad we got a win tonight against a really good team. Now we just got to regroup tomorrow, watch film, correct our mistakes, which I still think we made some mistakes defensively, and especially me while guarding Joel. I think there's some fouls that I kind of gave him those fouls. Meanwhile, I understand the frustration from a team perspective, where we really are giving the other team a lot of fouls, and the ref are calling all type of fouls. So now it's just knowing what cannot be given and what needs to be earned, and that's why I think I'll go back and watch film and correct that and look forward to Utah.
With the ref, you said giving a lot of whistles and you guys being short of DA,
Right.
you stepping up and having to guard Embiid. How do you balance trying to stay on the floor, not getting in foul trouble as you did, but having the 5 blocks, which are your season high, and deciding what to go after or what to basically stay grounded with?
Man, in a game like this, I think if you watch a lot of the clip, I was pulling my hand back a lot because basically the ref was like, if you have your hands back and you run into it, those are not a foul, And I think when we start doing that, obviously we're not getting calls, but block shots, like defense, I think I always go with my instinct, to be honest. Of blocking shots is just instinct and trusting that my teammate's going to cover for me. And I think there is one play towards the end of the first half, I think towards the end of the second quarter, where Joel was coming full speed. I jump in the air. Basically, I had my arm up, but then Torrey Craig came and got a block shot. I didn't know he got the block shot, but then somebody told me he got the block shot. And then he said, I got, you always get our back and I got your back, which is something that the coach always says. So sometimes it's just relying on your teammate and them trusting you that you're going to be there for them, and then knowing that when you need them, they're going to be there for you. And I think that's what we kind of rely on, especially, with the struggle that we have been dealing with the past few games. Hopefully we can get that break now and focus on the next games and, trying to figure out this whole rhythm that we need as a team.
So last year, before and after you got here, you guys put in a solid effort every night.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so difficult this year to put in a full effort from the first tick of the clock to
Right.
the end like you did tonight? Why are you finding it difficult on other nights not to do that?
I think when you look at our team this year, we probably had more injuries than we did last year. From the beginning of the season, we had a lot, but it's not the same this year. Exactly. So, but when we started the season, the rhythm of the team, if you look at it, I think since November we were never healthy. At least a lot of times last year we were healthy and there is a consistent rotation from everybody. But this year, since November, we really haven't even got a whole team together. And probably 1 or 2 games this year, we had a chance to do that since November. So why is that? Honestly, man, we've dealt with a lot. And then you have the trade coming. You have new guys that got to get adjusted to the system. So it's a lot that has happened this year. But again, that is not an excuse. We're still professional. We have a great coach that put a great game plan every night in place for us to execute. And like I said, sometimes you go out there, you give your best, and things just don't go your way, And I think for us, the coach always say, you put your head down, you keep working, and eventually things gonna work out. So that's what we're gonna keep doing. Every night we're gonna show up, we're gonna compete, and then we see what happens, man. We control what we can control, and we trust the coach.
My next question about block shots is, how do you keep the ball in play, for the fact that Monty and Chris were talking about, the best defensive stops create the best offense, getting back in transition to score off those stops.
I always try to pay attention to my teammate, seeing where they are when I'm going to block the shot. Usually block the shot from the weak side, so there's a guy behind trailing. So as I block the shot, I'm blocking ideally. So either tap it on the glass or tap it over there so he can grab it, and then we can get a fast break. So basically, I try to observe my teammate, honestly.